This is CAF TV. Welcome, everyone. I'm Alex Bastiavansky, bringing you all the action from the Canadian Academy of Football. There were only 2 games last weekend in the CAF Under-14 Supergroup, but a total of 17 goals were scored in those 2 games. So stick around for some fantastic highlights coming up momentarily. Also this week, James McGilvery of GCS Academy joins me in the studio to discuss his program, and I'll have a feature on Burlington SC. That's all coming up later. But first, let's get to the Sport Check match day highlights. And after starting off the season with a win, Burlington has been in a bit of a slide lately, losing their next 3 in a row. On Sunday, they appeared to be heading to their 4th straight loss when suddenly things turned late in the game against a stunned GCS squad. Match day highlights now brought to you by Sport Check. What are you sweating for? And things start well for GCS. Just 4 minutes in, Nicholas Andriola with the shot. Andy Lacic, I won't lie, he had a rough game. Bobbles it. Brandon Wallace knocks it home. 1-0 for the boys from Niagara. 24th minute now. Marco Primorano hits it from 30 yards out. Lacic, ouch. Would love to have that one back. Up to that point, the play had been even, but GCS has a 2-0 lead off 2 questionable goals. On to the second half we go, and things change in a big way in the 69th minute. Brandon Wallace picks up his 2nd yellow of the game. You know what that means. He's sent off, and GCS go down to 10 men. Cue the comeback. 73rd minute, Burlington corner kick. Austin Wojcinski uses his height to his advantage. Burlington have new life. They cut the deficit in half. Then just 4 minutes later, Ilya Illich breaks through, gets dropped by Tyler Mazzuto, no question. Ref points to the spot. Illich, forget about it. He doesn't miss those, and it's 2-2. GCS doesn't know what's hit them. Then just a minute before full time, Illich takes the feed and completes the comeback, blowing it past Ivan Burgess to give Burlington the improbable 3-2 win. Now, GCS was screaming for an offside call. It's tough to tell. Here's the point of contact. It looks like Illich may be a step ahead of the defender on the far right of your screen. Regardless, the flag stays down, and Illich is the hero for Burlington. 3-2 your final. Burlington grabs their 2nd win of the season. Afterwards, Jordan Baker was happy with the way his team never said die and got it together after being down 2-0 early.
We weren't pressing hard enough in the first half, and we were giving them easy chances to shoot on net, and that's why we let those first 2 goals in. But in the second half, we were pressing and winning the ball and playing with more passion and heart. Well, once we got a man up, then it allowed us to get more chances to penetrate the back line for through balls, and that's how we got 2 of our goals.
Incredible comeback. Well, game 2 on the afternoon featured Cap and Jinga, who were coming off their first win of the season and looking to keep the momentum going. The action was non-stop from the opening kickoff as the 2 squads combined for the 2nd highest scoring game of the season so far. Jinga in black, Cap in orange, 3rd minute of play. Callum Knox comes up with the huge stop on Logan Wright's free kick, but Fernando Estrada is there to knock home the juicy rebound. 1-0 Jinga, looking good early on. Just 3 minutes later, though, Nick O'Reilly crosses for Spencer Wright, who heads it home. Now, just a note, Jinga doesn't have a regular goalie right now. They've used a different player each game so far in net, so go easy. 60 seconds later, Noah Nemec playing up a year. He's only 12. You wouldn't know it to look at that. Scores an absolute beauty. Jinga goes up 2-1 through 7 minutes of play. They nearly get another. Fernando Estrada from 12 yards out, but Callum Fort Knox is there to make another big save. 30th minute now. The Cap player, not sure who it is, unfortunately, didn't get the number, but he lets fly from about 35 yards out. Bounces past the keeper to knock things up at 2 apiece. 2 minutes later, Nick O'Reilly. This guy's been so good all year. He absolutely smokes it into the top corner. 3-2 Cap through 32 minutes. Then just before halftime, Spencer Wright from distance. Beautiful shot. That puts Cap up 4-2 after 39 minutes. On to the second half we go. O'Reilly spots Marcelo Flores out front. Look at the moves on this kid. He puts it into the open cage. Cap taking full control. They're up 5-2 through 44 minutes. Then it's Marcelo's sister getting in on the action. 3 minutes later, as she knocks it home from just inside 15 yards. Cap pulling away, up 6-2. Everyone was getting in on the action from 20 yards out this time, floating it over top of the keeper's head. 63rd minute now, Jacob McBride takes his time, and it's just target practice as he rips it home to make it 8-2. But then Logan Wright pulls off the absolute stunner. 2 of them, actually. First, he scores this beauty from 20 yards out. Play of the week, maybe? That or this one. 2 minutes later, Logan does it again from 22 yards out. He tattoos it past Knox. Reich, a ray of sunshine for Jinga on an otherwise cloudy day. 8-4 CAF is your final. Jinga, after the strong start, get doubled up by the squad from Guelph, and with the win, CAF moves into a tie for second place with GCS.
Boys, Elliot, on that comb, Elliot on that comb. Switch, Robert. Orlando. Right. Good, Orlando. Good. Keep it.
It's always so much fun to watch the passion those young kids have. Okay, Supergroup standings brought to you by Yogurt's Frozen Yogurt. Epic on top. Now you'll notice they've played one less game, as have Dragon Force, because they were away last weekend. They're going to make it up this upcoming weekend in the schedule. Here's the evidence. Saturday, CAF and Burlington, Dragon Force, Epic, and then on Sunday, GCS, Dragon Force, Epic, and Jinga. Note the location. It will be at Lamport Stadium this weekend, not Esther Shiner. Remember, for all the up-to-date news, stats, and standings, head to CAFsoccer.com. And joining the studio now by the Director of GCS Academy, James McGillivray. Welcome to the studio.
Thanks, James. Much appreciated.
Yeah, it's a game had a bit of everything. Heart-stopping in some ways. Unfortunately for you guys, you came out in the short end. But how do you think the guys played yesterday?
I thought the kids were fantastic the first 20 minutes. We planned to high-pressure Burlington because they're a very good passing team, but we thought we could maybe knock them off their stride a little bit by sort of high-pressuring their own end, and it kind of caused a couple of turnovers. We got a couple of early breaks, a sad goalkeeping mistake that gave us a 2-0 lead.
Yeah.
But from that point on, as Burlington came into their game, and they're a very good team. They're a very good passing team.
Yeah, it was obviously going down to 10 men affected things greatly for you guys once your player got the second yellow card. How did you change things up tactically once he got the second yellow and had to go off?
We didn't make a whole lot of changes because when you're playing sort of a 4-3-3 and you lose a man in the midfield, we just slid one guy back and kind of changed it into a sort of a 4-4-1. Kept the defense the same, just threw an extra guy in midfield, and unfortunately we try to hang on a little bit, and instead of keeping possession of the ball, and it gave Burlington a little bit of momentum.
Yeah, they turned it on late. I was surrounded by a few GCS parents. Very vocal. They thought that the third and deciding goal that Burlington scored was offside. What was your take on it? You were closer to the action than we all were, so what did you think?
Well, it was really hard to tell from where we are because of the angle. One of our guys thought he was offside, but in the run of play, it was really hard to tell. And the linesman was there and he didn't put his flag up, so you kind of got to go with the officials. And
we watched it on the highlights. It looked like it might have been a half step, but even then it was tough to tell.
But again, the offside rule is tough. I mean, the speed of play that the game goes, and the ball moving forward, and when the ball's kicked, and when the boy runs, it's tough on the linesman to make that call. And for me, it was a good goal. It was a. I would rather lose on a goal like that than a scramble or a deflection. So.
Yeah, Illich, who scored the goal for Burlington, I think he got another 2. He's a good player, isn't he?
He's a fantastic player. I mean, that's something that I've really appreciated with CAF this year, and I know our parents and boys have, is there's some very skilled players in the league, and it really shows you where you want to be at that level.
Right. You guys raced out to a perfect 3-0 record this year. You lost the last two. Of course, your first loss was to Epic. No shame in that.
Yep.
But they're such a strong team. But now 2 in a row, you guys have lost. But overall, I mean, you've been in every game this year. How do you think the guys have played so far?
We've been really excited with the boys. I mean, we've really only been with them for about 6 to 8 weeks now, and so kind of trying to mold them into a team and get them to playing a system. It's going to take a little while. Obviously, Epic are one of the strongest teams probably in Ontario. Burlington are a tremendous team, but all the teams in the league that we've played against so far have been, the quality has been very good. So it's raising our kid standard as well.
No, we should mention, of course, you guys are based in Niagara.
Yep.
You're based in Niagara. So do you guys get some of the premier players from the Niagara region? Would you say?
It's a struggle with the academy and the Niagara Peninsula. You know, we're trying to get our face out there to let people know that what we're about. So right now, this is a good squad of U14 players, but yeah, we'd like to make the team better. That's for sure.
Right, and you guys have got an extremely strong under-17 squad as well. You were saying.
Yeah, we've got a 17. Well, they play in the U18 division, and then we've got a U23 team, but they're all mostly 16 and 17-year-olds. So we've got a real good balance of the older kids. So now it's to grow the younger ones.
Yeah, the younger ones have been phenomenal so far. We're actually going to talk a little bit more about some of the key players on your team. There's been some guys who've been a lot of fun to watch, so much skill on that team. And also about the GCS program in general, the history and why you guys started in the first place.
Yep.
All coming up in just a moment when we return on CAF TV. Welcome back to CAF TV. I'm Alex Bashabansky, and joined in the studio by the director of GCS Academy, James McGilvery. And well, let's talk about this. Let's talk about GCS. Fairly new program.
Yep.
When did it start, and why did you guys start it? It's in Niagara, of course. We should mention as well. Why start it out there? What happened?
Well, I've been in Niagara Falls now for over 20 years, and I've grown up with soccer there. I've been involved with kids, and I've been involved with adults, and I just see there is a need, like everywhere else in Toronto, for programs with high quality coaching that gives an avenue for the kids to train at a higher level and to play at a higher level like we are in CAF now, and to look for future opportunities for these kids, which is our scholarship program.
Which is going to see, I was going to ask, what are the main goals of the program, and that'd be one of them, then the scholarship
Yeah,
program.
the scholarship program. Last winter we took 26 boys aged 15 to 17 down to the Pittsburgh area. We took them down there. We played 3 universities, colleges and universities, and that's just sort of the start of trying to get these kids spotted by some U.S. scouts.
Right.
And so that is our main goal, is to give these kids opportunities. You know, if you find one that's of real quality, and we have contacts through our head coach, Dave Curry, that we have an opportunity to take them back to Europe as well. So,
what age groups are we talking about with this? And are there girls as well, or is it just a boys program right now?
No, right now we're just in a boys program. Dave Curry, our technical director, he is wanting to start a girls program because he coached girls at the university level.
Right.
And he sees a real need again in the Niagara Peninsula to push girls into a scholarship program. So that's something that hopefully that we grow. Right now we're at U14, U18, and U23 team, but our 18s and 23s are mostly 16 and 17. And we are looking at going into the younger ages now. We want to start the kids young at the 9s and 10s.
How have you guys found the CAF experience so far?
I've been involved with CAF for 3 years now. 2 years as GCS Academy. The U14 Supergroup has been a tremendous experience. The quality of play is fantastic. Walking out in the crowd with the crowd there and the national anthem. The kids.
They've all seemed to really love that.
Oh
kids,
yeah, that's a great experience for the kids. The 18s and the 23s, the competition is good. The quality of the teams are very good. So it's been a great experience, and we want to open up everybody's eyes in the Niagara Peninsula that this is out there.
Well, you guys have some top-notch young players on this team. The one that first stands out to me when I watch every week is Marco Primorano.
Yes.
Scored lots of goals. I mean, just in the game against Burlington last Sunday that you guys played, just a terror on the field. Setting stuff up, scoring goals. He just always seems to get it done. Talk about Marco as a player.
Marco, I've known Marco actually since he was a young kid, when he used to come and play at the indoor sportsplex. And so Marco's turned into a real good player. He's got all the tools to be a top-notch player. He's a kind of a kid that we would look at and say, that we'd like to push him onto the scholarship route.
Right.
He now needs to at 13 to 14 years old, he's got that individual talent. So now we want to turn him into a good team player. That's what we're after with Marco.
Well, he's definitely. I mean, he's spot on with those passes. I'll tell you, he loves to set guys up and score the goals himself too.
Yeah.
He's got the talent. Yeah. Your keeper, Ivan Burgess. Now, I'm always wondering, am I saying the name right? Is it Ivan? Is it Ivan?
It's Ivan.
It's Ivan.
Yeah, it's Ivan.
Noted for future reference. I've butchered some of the names in the highlights so far. So, Ivan Burgess, some of the stops he's made so far this year. He made my save of the week one time. Maybe my play of the week one time, actually.
Yeah.
But he's been solid in there for you guys.
Ivan's a tremendous young goalkeeper. He actually trains every once in a while with my 17s and 18s with our goalkeeper coach.
Right.
And he faces shots from the big boys and crosses, and he does fantastic. So he's a kid that we look at as sort of a building block for the GCS Academy, that a kid that we can take to the next level.
Right. Henry Allen on the back line.
Yeah.
Not only is he a strong defender, he scored a goal from 40 yards out, I think, in the first or second game of the season, but he's been rock solid back there for you guys.
Yeah, Henry's a good big athlete. He's a AAA hockey player, so unfortunately, you don't know how long you're going to keep those kind of players.
Of course,
They're going to make a decision at some point. But no, Henry's he's a good big athlete. He scored that 40-yarder. He also scored the winning goal a couple of weeks back off the header on the corner.
Yep.
So yeah, he's another kid that we look at, that we want to bring kids in to surround the Marcos and the Henrys to build this team.
Right. Dragon Force up next for you guys on Sunday. You played them in the second game of the year,
I think it was the second
first game of the year. I've got it in my notes here.
Yep.
First game of the year. They've improved. You beat them in the first game, but they've improved a lot since then. What are you expecting from those guys?
Well, again, every week I watch. We watch the games before us and the games after us, and every team here, if you don't play at your top potential, you stand a chance of losing.
Yeah.
And even though we beat Dragon Force the first game, technically they're sound. They got a good coaching staff. They move the ball well. So yeah, you have to be on the top of your game to win every week in this league.
It's been so up. I mean, the only team that's really been on top the whole time has been Epic so far. But any team can beat anyone on any given day the way it's been so far.
Yeah.
If people want to find out more about it, gcsacademy.com.
Yep.
The way to go. James, thanks so much for being here, buddy.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, more CAF TV coming up in just a moment. Welcome back to CAF TV. As we saw from this week's highlights, you can never count out Burlington SC. They've got offensive firepower to stun teams who let up on them for even a second, as GCS found out the hard way last weekend. And we discover more now about the ins and outs of Burlington in this week's team report, brought to you by Leica Sports. Leica, your passion, our commitment. Burlington SC is the brainchild of Mihail Markovic, who 3 years ago saw a need for a high-level soccer program in the city of nearly 200,000 residents.
The reason why we started, one of the main reasons was because we've been getting a lot of comments from the actual city of Burlington and the people in Burlington that stronger program needs to be developed or needs to be established to for these kids that are willing to play at a higher level. We wanted to start with the U8, started with the U8s, we have a U10, U12, U14 now, and 2 girls teams as well. Eventually the whole intention is to build a strong program to be able to get to the point that it's feeding into the professional teams, being a professional teams as a part of the League One, or possibly anything that can work out, whatever that direction is, being at school, to scholarships, also Europe, if the Europe is the direction.
So far, the under-14 season has been up and down for Burlington, with 2 wins in 5 games. The players admit a consistent effort level has been lacking at times.
I think we've played all right, but we got to show more heart in our games, and we have to work harder, definitely.
There's a few things that we need to change. We are well aware of that, but at the same time, this team's been together for 6 weeks, so these results are real. I think we're happy with these results.
Well-respected head coach Chris Lako, a former professional player in North America and Europe, was brought in just before the season began to lead the boys. He's demanding, but the players have responded to him.
He's really strict, but he means well, and he's just trying to push us to our limits and trying to get us the best we can possibly do.
Burlington has been led this season by Ilya Illich. The dynamic forward has terrorized opposing defenders and is one of the supergroup's leading scorers.
Ilya's been a great, goal scorer, like you've seen, great forward that that we needed, strong for his age, and amazing addition. With playing with the Christian together, they look really good, and there's so much more that we can build in them as well.
Christian Starcevic has likewise been a nightmare for defenders to handle.
Christian's been really good because he has that skill that he has that skill that you would see in the players in Europe, where he is actually he can control, he can feed the attack as well as he's coming back on the defense every time it's needed. So great addition to the team.
I think I've improved a lot. My first touch, everything else, I've become more like. Usually I just score goals. Now I look wide, everything like that. I switch the ball, I assist, score goals, both now.
Fresh off a huge 3-2 win last weekend that saw them rally from a 2-goal deficit, Burlington feel they have the tools necessary to continue moving up the Supergroup standings.
We're really good offensively and defensively, I think. If we just keep working hard, pushing ourselves, and playing with intelligence, I think we're going to get higher up and get really better as a team.
All right, time now for the CAF Countdown, the top 5 plays of the week, brought to you by Focus Integrative Therapy. Focus, dedicated to your ongoing health and wellness. Number 5, Cap Spencer Wright from a ridiculous angle 20 yards out. Bends it like a certain player we all know for the beautiful score. Number 4, Nick O'Reilly adds to his list of amazing goals, smoking the shot top corner to beat the Jenga keeper. Number 3, Austin Wojcinski fights off GCS coverage and knocks home the tremendous header to cue the Burlington comeback. Number 2, Logan Reich dominates the top 2. First, he schools the Cap defender and tucks it just under the bar. And number 1, it's Logan again. The incredible shot from about 23 yards out. Absolutely stunning performance by Logan. And our super player of the week, drum roll please, the top performer brought to you by Phillips Moving and Storage. Phillips will get you there, and yeah, I think it's pretty obvious. It has to be Logan Reich. Jenga couldn't pull out the win, but Logan was a one-man wrecking crew against Cap. 2 gorgeous goals, numerous posts he hit too. He could have had 5 goals on the day. Logan's been one of the Supergroup's top scorers this year, and he's definitely worthy of our Phillips Moving and Storage Player of the Week. And that's all the time we've got for this week. Just remember, though, there's lots of different ways you can keep up to date with all the age groups of the Canadian Academy of Football. Check out the league website at cafsoccer.com or check us out on Twitter at CAF_football. And you can also follow our Facebook page as well. Thanks so much for tuning in, folks. I'll see you next week for more CAF TV.